Once we have our building shell set up, we can set up our HVAC system. We'll click Edit HVAC System, and it's good to give them a name. We're only going to start with one, and it's going to be a dual duct system. Because this is an advanced leaning training, we're going to set our cooling source to chilled water and our heating source to hot water coils, hot water loop. The system type is going to be dual duct air handler with hot water heat. And right here we have the system per area. We're going to set it to a system per site. This means that we're going to have one air handling unit, that's a dual duct air handling unit, on this entire site, as opposed to one per shell. We're going to have a plenum return. We'll fix the prefix. And everything else is going to have the defaults. If you notice, this schedule defaults to 1 hour before open and 1 hour after close. Since we had 8 to 5, this becomes 7 to 6. It extends by 1 hour.